Well, hello there, little guy. You must be a little raindrop that's just entered the atmosphere and is ready to fall. I think I'll name you Raindrop. What a funny name. Unfortunately, what comes up must go down. See you when you hit the ground, kid. Where you just landed is Glimmerglass State Park on the Otsego Lake. This lake is the start of a 444-mile-long journey that will eventually take you to the Chesapeake Bay. Through 3 states, many small towns and cities, several lakes and dams, as well as some interesting landmarks along the way, you will cover 400 miles before eventually entering the bay. Hope you're ready for a great adventure as you run downhill. Whoa, isn't water supposed to be at least somewhat blue? What we're seeing here is the Lackawanna Old Forge borehole runoff. Drilled by the Army Corps of Engineers in 1961, this old borehole is 400 feet deep and is estimated to drain 100 to 150 million gallons of abandoned mine water every day in the Lackawanna River. The orange color that we can see is mostly iron and sulfur being mixed in with the water as it's being leached out of the borehole. This borehole was originally drilled to drain a mine pool that would cause flooding in many basements of the lower lying areas in the region. Although this alleviates some damage to the basements in many homes, the detriments to aquatic life is definitely there. We'll get more into this once we get further down to the Chesapeake Bay. Whoa, who put that there? Let's give this a little bit of a wide berth, shouldn't we, Mr. Drop? Well, looks like you made it to the Chesapeake Bay. Congratulations. Let's zoom out a little bit and see where you started your journey and where you finally ended up at the beginning of the Chesapeake Bay. Up here is Otsego Lake right outside Coopertown, New York. And this is the northernmost part of the Chesapeake Bay, 30 miles northeast of Baltimore, Maryland. As the crow flies, you are 235 miles away from where you started. Or as the river flows, 444 miles away from where you started. Now that we've reached the bay, let's unpack this journey a little bit. I know you probably brought a few souvenirs along the way on your trip down the Susquehanna River. Unfortunately, Mr. Drop, I don't think the souvenirs you collected are very fun at all. I don't think they're equivalent to fridge magnets or the like. We already mentioned earlier about the pollution running out of the Old Forge borehole into the Lackawanna River and eventually the Susquehanna River. Another key pollutant is agricultural runoff. The Susquehanna is the key tributary of fresh water into the Chesapeake Bay, delivering half of the fresh water and about 40% of the nitrogen pollution, 20% of the phosphorus pollution, and a heavy load of sediment pollution. The majority of that pollution, more than 60%, is attributed to excess maneuver agricultural runoff and urban and suburban stormwater. All of these pollutants are making their way into the bay and causing detriments to local life as well as people in the area. What this means is that decisions made hundreds of miles away from even getting to the bay are affecting the life of everyone around the bay as well as all the life in it. It is a big problem. People even 400 miles away from where Little Raindrop landed are being affected by this pollution and the runoff that's going into the river and then eventually into the bay. This causes problems for everyone, especially people in the region, but also probably the people upstream of that may not even believe that Chesapeake Bay has any effect on their life. Things like seafood, like blue crabs and oysters, are now contaminated with pollutants that originally started way up in the south of New York or even anywhere in the central part of Pennsylvania. While there are programs in motion to improve the health of the Susquehanna River, in Pennsylvania especially, these programs still have a long way to go before the health of the river drastically improves enough to the point where it stops affecting the health of the bay. In the end, it's more than just the people that live next to the bay whose job it is to protect our waterways. Millions of people across 6 states all attribute to the health of the bay and the water system that supplies it. In the end, we all play a little bit of a part in keeping the bay healthy. But that's not on you, little water droplet. You are just playing your part in the system. Now go enjoy the Chesapeake Bay. You had a long journey to get here.